Hello, friends. Greetings from New York. My name is Kevin Ahern. I'm the International President of ICMICA Pax Romana. I wish I could be with you in person, but my wife is expecting our second child this weekend, so I don't think I could easily travel to across the world and leave her here. But I'm thinking of you, and please think of us as we expect our daughter to come this weekend. Your meeting speaks a lot to me. When I was a university student, I was involved in IMCS. I graduated university in 2003. I then went to the international meeting of IMCS in Barcelona in 2003 and was elected as international president of the student movement of IMCS. Most of you know that movement. So like you, I'm an ex-IMCSer. From 2003 to 2007, I was on the international team of IMCS based in Paris, but traveled to visit IMCS movements around the world. My other teammates included Zobel Behalal from Cameroon and Father Mike Deeb from South Africa. Some of you might have been involved in IMCS during this time period. I remember Father Etienne Triay, the former African chaplain at the time, Jesuit. He did several trips to Ethiopia, I know. So you might remember some of these times. After finishing up IMCS in 2007, I went to get my doctorate in theology in Boston. I'm not a priest, I'm a layperson. Part of my research has been on the role of the IMCS movements. I'm now a professor at a Catholic university in New York City called Manhattan College. One of my former colleagues, Brother Augustine, I believe is now president of the Catholic University in Ethiopia. So some of my university has some partnership with the college there. And so I'm hoping that one day that will allow me the chance to come and visit this amazing country of yours, which I've wanted to see after a long time. 2 years ago, the movement of ICMICA invited me and nominated me to stand as president of the movement, and I was elected for a 4-year term as president of ICMICA. Both IMCS and ICMICA, as you know, are the two global movements in the Pax Romana family. The Pax Romana movements were started in 1921, almost 100 years now. And we, as university students, but also a few professors, met in Fribourg, Switzerland, to create a movement that would be a peace movement based on students and the university world. This movement, as you know, grew and spread, and after the Second World War, it split formally into two branches. IMCS for students and ICMICA for professionals or intellectuals. In fact, if you go from our movements from Indonesia and India and Asia to Peru and Colombia and Latin America, or across Europe, or across most of Africa, most of the ICMICA groups are in fact former IMCS members, or the leaders are coming out of the IMCS movement. Locally, ICMICA groups go by different names. Some call themselves movements of Catholic professionals. Some describe themselves as Catholic intellectuals, especially in French-speaking countries. In some places, they are Catholic lawyers, Catholic business people, different names in different countries. Some groups are reflection centers. Some groups operate as a network, like an alumni network of the local IMCS group. One model that is quite common is small groups of professionals, former IMCSers and others, meeting weekly or monthly to reflect together, and then those local groups connected to a national movement. So there are different models, different names, different identities. And that's really positive because it gives the power to the local level, and it's not me as president or not the vice president for Africa's job to tell the local level what to do. It's a bottom-up movement, like IMCS. This is a special thing for our movements, I think. But what unites us, I think, and this also unites us with our friends in the student movements, is what we would call the spirituality of action. As ex-IMCSers, you know what this is, even if you don't call it this way. It means not waiting for someone else to take the initiative. It means that we are called to be leaders in our communities right now, in our universities, in our societies, in our workplace, and in the church. It means that it's us who will construct this world that we are called to and the message that Jesus invites us to in the Gospels. Becoming our own protagonists is what Jesus invites us to. It says Jesus calls us to be active forces in the world, but becoming protagonists is not easy. There are many forces in our society, in our workplaces, and even in our church that don't want lay professionals to be leaders, that want us to say, yes, we will not ask questions. So, for example, there are many companies that sell things online, right? They don't want us to ask questions. Where do these things come from? What is happening? Or a boss might ask you to do something that is not morally ethical, some sort of corruption. They don't want you to ask questions. Why should I do this? Why should I? They don't want us to be our full human beings. So as a movement, as ICMICA, like our student movement, like IMCS, our goal is to empower and to create leaders now. What our Latin Americans describe as adult Christians, adult Catholics. That's our fundamental goal. That's what the spirituality of action is. But in order to live this spirituality, in order to be a true Catholic professional in the world or a true intellectual, we need communities. We can't do it alone. And our local communities also need communities at the African level, at the European level, and those communities also need the global family. So this is what we try to offer as ICMICA. We are a global community of Catholic intellectuals and professionals engaged in the world with a spirituality of action. We are not passive. We are active in the world and in the church. As president, I'm a volunteer, right? I work full-time as a professor. We have a council made up also of volunteers with one regional vice president from each continent. Frederick from Kenya, I think, is going to be connecting with you during your meeting. He's for Africa. We have a volunteer secretary general based in Paris, Philippe Ledouble from France, and then an international chaplain, a priest from the Basque region of Spain, who is our international chaplain. Our office is based in Geneva, but we're working from where we are, if that makes sense. Concretely, as a movement, we offer three things that I think are really valuable to just mention really quickly. First, we offer a community. We are a global network of people who have similar visions, similar experiences. When you go to a meeting, and I do this often, I meet a former IMCSer or a member of ICMICA, there's an instant connection. We know the experiences that we've had. We are connected, even if we've never met before. It's like it's a real sense of family, I find. And I think that's really valuable. So that first point, community. Second point is voice. As a global movement, we can be a voice for our members in civil society, like the United Nations, but also in the church as an association of the faithful, an international association of the faithful. There are very few lay-led lay movements like ours, so our voice, I think, is important in the world of the church. And we need to mobilize more Catholics to have a voice of where our church is going. It's not just up to the priests and sisters who do an amazing job, but we have to also be involved. If you create an ICMICA group in Ethiopia, one thing you could actually help us with would be a voice for our Africa region in the African Union. And we have some status there. You can check with Fred about this. But, having a local group there would be really helpful. So we also work closely with the United Nations in Geneva, Vienna, Paris with UNESCO, and here in New York. Finally, we offer hope. We offer a vision that another world is possible. This vision is rooted in the gospel message of Jesus, and basically a conviction that we know the way the world is not the way the world has to be. So we can work this. I sent a link to our recent magazine, Convergence, on the theme of evangelization and the crisis of democracy. You can check with Frederick about how you might want to form a community. Basically, and I'll just run this very quickly, there are 3 steps. First is you need to create some kind of document, a statute, a 1-2 page sort of summary of who you are and what you're hoping to do. Second, you need some letter approved saying that you're Catholic, that you're not against the church, at least, from a local church official, bishop or someone working in the bishops' conference in the country. Then, with those 2 things, you can apply to be a corresponding member, and the council can approve that. But to be a full member, you have to wait until the next plenary assembly, which is in 2021 in Fribourg, most likely Switzerland, because this will be the 100th anniversary of IMCS and ICMICA, the Pax Romana movement. And so you can get your status approved then. Check in with Frederick, see what he can help you with, but I'm also here and happy to be of service to you. So this weekend as you meet, I'm thinking of you, I'm praying for you. Please think of me and my family, and I hope to really have the chance to come and visit Ethiopia and to meet many of you and to be of service with you as best as we can. So best of luck and enjoy. Thanks so much. Bye.